Mataji, please start. Hare Krishna. So after the gap of 2 Mondays, we are meeting again. One Monday I was in Rishikesh in transit, and one Monday I was in Gangotri in transit. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurun-militam yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapitam yena bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Shri Radhe Shyam. So we last time ended at the point that there was a concern and worry expressed by the Brijabasis about Krishna Balram's protection. So Upananda Maharaj, the oldest brother of Nanda Maharaj, he asked his wife Prabhavati, so did you go to Nanda Bhavan? So she said, how one can live without visiting Nanda Bhavan every day? How one can miss? They cannot survive only. So she narrates the event that I explained last time, that how Krishna escaped from the vigilance of the maid servants and went to the banks of Jamuna, which was very deep, and was playing there in the sand. Then finally Mother Yashoda had to go and scold him and bring him back. And after that, narration of the event by Prabhavati Gopi to her husband Upananda, he said, I think it's become very dangerous over here. So Prabhavati says, then you should talk in today's assembly. Now what is assembly? Every single day there is an assembly called Chaurasi Khamba. That's the location, venue of the assembly. And all the elderly Gopas, they assemble over there and they discuss about that day's pastime of Krishna. And then they discuss about the pros and cons, their interpretations and purports they give. And then they discuss about Krishna's protection and welfare and everything else. So Prabhavati says that, see, today in the assembly you must raise this topic. It's all yours. You are the leader, you're the senior most learned, most experienced. They respect you. You're also a minister of Nanda Maharaj, so please raise this point. So that evening, after the Yamala Arjuna trees were uprooted, after that, Upananda Maharaj is now in the assembly of Chaurasi Khamba of Gokul. Everybody please be attentive. Every single small part of this anecdotes of this lecture will be very important and very interesting to know. First of all, I want to tell you that the description in Bhagavatam is very short for obvious reasons, because Shukdev Maharaj cannot go on describing everything in detail, and the time of the departure of Parikshit Maharaj will come, then how would he complete everything? So that's why there are many points which Shukdev Ji Maharaj has described in short, and he could not describe in detail. But our dear merciful Jiva Goswami has described all those points in great detail. And you will be very surprised to know he describes those items in very great details, amazingly details. But he still says, I just cannot describe this event. It's impossible for me to describe this event. So many things are there, I cannot describe you. This is what his statement. So now Upanand Maharaj starts discussing, and he says that how Krishna was born, and then Putana came, she created a havoc, nobody knew, we got cheated by her. Then Shakatasur came, there was a nice ceremony going on a third month, and then the big cart demon came, Utkacha, and he created havoc. Then on the first birthday of Krishna, the whole whirlwind came, and it was such a confusion, such a darkness of dust everywhere, and Krishna had to finally, by the mercy of Lord Narayan, Krishna was protected, the demon was smashed on the rock. And then, lo and behold, the two big trees fell down. It could have fallen down on the children, it could have fallen down on Krishna. They were just inch away from the two trees. Krishna was in between. Some children were in between. Some children were out of the range of the trees, but they were just saved by the mercy of Lord Narayan. But we cannot just risk our children, Krishna Balaram. The demons are constantly haunting them to kill them, and we don't know who is behind it, but somehow this place has become very dangerous. So then, all the incidents are being caused by some unknown demon, because he comes here to create another disturbance. Before he comes here to create another disturbance, it is our duty to go somewhere else with the boys until there are no more disturbances. So Prabhupada very beautifully explains that you may live in India, you may live in village, you may live in city, you may live in America, England, but the disturbances will not leave you. They will reach there before you. Your karmas, the agents of your karma will reach before you reach there. But Srila Prabhupada says there have been so many disturbances to our Krishna conscious movement also, but we never stopped. We cannot give up our forward march. We have to keep serving. So at the same time, in the material world, when we are living, there is disturbances also. There are disturbances also, and there is encouragement also. So we should take, Prabhupada says, we should take the clue of encouragement and keep our forward march on. Banam Vrindavanam Nama Pashavyam Navakananam Gopa Gopi Gava Sevyam Punyadri Truna Virudham. Very beautiful, famous sloka of Bhagavatam. This one and the next one. Between Nandagaon and Madhuvan, now Upanand Maharaj is saying, between Nandishwara and Mahavan, Gokul, is a place called Vrindavan. This place is very suitable because it is lush with green grass, with green plants, with creepers for the cows and other animals. It has nice gardens, tall mountains, and it is full of facilities for happiness of all the gopis, all the gopas and their animals. Therefore, let us go immediately there. There is no need to wait. And further, if you agree to my proposal, let us prepare all the bullock carts and put the cows in front of us and let us go there. Now, we should not bother. Upananda Maharaj is a very great devotee of the Lord, believe me. He says we should not bother Narayan, Bhagwan, to protect our bodies and our homes, which are very insignificant, tuchha. Narayani is the giver of Pancham Purushartha. What is Pancham Purushartha? That is love. Prema Pumarto Mahan. So when Narayan can give you Pancham Purushartha, why should we bother Narayan to protect your bodies and our wealth and our houses? We should tolerate all the miseries as a result of our past karma. And we should give up the sources of miseries, Tyajya. And we should accept the sources of happiness, that is Grahya. All the events of Putana, Shakata, Punavarta, Yamanarjun, Bruksha, are they not enough to give up this place? There is no need to take permission of Kamsa, because we are cowherd community. We don't have a fixed forest where we stay. We keep moving from one place to another, and we pay taxes to for staying in the forest to Kamsa. So as long as Kamsa is getting taxes, he will not bother. So I don't think we should take a permission or need permission of Kamsa for moving from one place to another. This, now he's talking about Vrindavan. This Vrindavan, which I am addressing to you, is a topmost place of happiness. The ultimate summit or limit of pleasure in both the worlds, spiritual and material world. Auspicious act should be performed as early as possible. This is what he's saying. I am telling you a Siddhanta. Upananda Baba is saying, auspicious activities should be performed as early as possible. If you delay any auspicious activity, then the delay itself creates confusion and doubt about the auspicious activity itself. It's like, when we arrange weddings. So what we say, Jhat mangni pat shadi. We should immediately arrange the engagement and get the couple married. But suppose you delay, then all problems start coming. That we all grastas know very well. So like that, he says, this is the Siddhanta. We should not delay in doing good activities. And acceptance, or we call it sammati. Sammati means concurrence of many more people for the decision is extremely important, but it increases the auspiciousness of the activity. So everyone gave saharsha sammati. That means very happily everybody unanimously agreed to whatever Upananda Maharaj was saying. I remember one story which I had told you earlier, when there was a crowning of Nanda Maharaj and Upananda Maharaj. Upananda Maharaj was crowned and he put his crown on Nanda Maharaj. So Nanda Maharaj said no. But Upananda Maharaj, no, I am as a king ordering you, you become king. So Nanda Maharaj that time told that I will become king on your order only on one condition, that you will always advise me how to run the kingdom, and I will follow only your instructions on how to run the kingdom. If you agree with me, then only I'll accept the kingdom. So he said, yes, I will always advise you. So you can see here, this is a proof that Nanda kept his word, Upananda Maharaj also kept his word. Upananda Maharaj suggested that this is a very dangerous place, we should move from here. Nanda Maharaj immediately accepted, ordered his kinsmen, please pack up everything and leave. So now Upananda Maharaj is very beautifully defining what is Brajavasi. Jiva Goswami is actually explaining. So he says that Vrajan means moving from one place to another. So the cowherds, although they were staying in one place, but they were always moving with cows from place to place, from forest to forest. So Gopas are famous for their Vrajata. Vrajata means Vrajan, to move around. Those who traveled from one forest to another within Vrindavan Dham are called Brajvasis. They keep walking with the cows all over the Braj. This is a very beautiful description Jiva Goswami gave. Then, with that unanimous decision accepted by everybody, then they all went to Purnamasi. See, this is also very simple, very important culture. Purnamasi is the guru of all the senior gopis, including Yashoda, Rohini, and Prabhavati, etc., etc. So they went and put the full proposal with explanation to Purnamasi. Purnamasi gave her blessings, and then they started moving. How did they move from that place? They first of all played their buffalo horns, and instead they created a big killode of auspicious sounds all over the area. Then they put all their houses on their bullock carts. I mean, houses means all the material of the house. And it is explained by Jiva Goswami that each bullock cart was a big house in itself. Like we say drawing room, or we say a full flat, an apartment. Like that, each bullock cart was. And each bullock cart was, especially Nanda, Yashoda, Rohini's bullock carts were decorated with jewels. They were having golden skeleton, bedecked with jewels. They had satin and makmal, soft cushions with silk borders, and they gathered their cows. They picked up their baby bulls and baby cows on their shoulders, and the bulls were pulling the cart, and the cows were put in center, surrounded by all the men and the bullock carts. It's a very beautiful arrangement of protection of cows, women, old people, and children. And in the center of everything was Yashoda Mai's bullock cart. And Bhagavatam also explains, and Jiva Goswami also explains that the two mothers, Rohini and Yashoda, they were unable to be separated from each other and to be separated from Krishna and Balaram. So they ascended on the same bullock cart. And as it was a big like a house, it could accommodate all of them. And Nandalala was in the lap of Yashoda and Balramji was in the lap of Rohini. And all over the sides, elder cows and the bulls were carrying all the loads. And of course, cows were just walking and their bells were ringing. Very beautiful, auspicious sound was coming all over. And the men were saying, Jihi, Jihi, he. Why? But it was the sound to make the cows and bulls move further. So they were playing instruments, and they were when the bullock cart moves, even Jiva Goswami and Shukdev Goswami, both of them described that there was a very rumbling, rushed, no, what do you call that, gross sound of the bullock cart's wheels, um, cracking sounds of all thousands and thousands and thousands of bullock carts. So it was a very, very beautiful scenario. And on top of that, the cowherd boys were singing songs. They were dancing. They were describing the pastimes of Krishna. Old people, children, ladies were on the cart. Young men were carrying bows and arrows and clubs because they were in the Kshatriya mood also to protect the other ones. So young men also were being protecting mood. And they were carrying bows, arrows, swords, and clubs. And they were walking on the periphery of the whole procession. Interesting to know, while Nanda Maharaj and his four brothers left from Gokul, Vrishabhanu Maharaj also left from Rawal because they were so thick friends that if Nanda Maharaj goes, there's no question of Vrishabhanu Maharaj staying in Rawal. So Vrishabhanu Maharaj was a very big king. So he also arranged all these things which I described to you in a similar way, and they were walking parallelly to one another. They had their uh, big entourage of many thousands of bullock carts and moving bulls and moving cows and luggages, and there were elephants and there were sheep and there were all kinds of animals over there. Now, they were what they were doing while they were settled in their journey. They started glorifying the cows, singing songs to glorify the auspiciousness of the cows. Then they started singing Bala Charitra of Krishna, whatever has happened till now. I will also tell you the song in prose, what they were singing. And in between, it is explained that it looked like the whole village was moving physically, like houses were moving. It was looking like that. And then it was someone was calling somebody. So the person who is calling, to him, the person called was coming behind and talking. Then he was going ahead and talking. He was coming behind and talking. And they were all, somebody was asking questions, somebody was answering the questions, and they were discussing. And then they started describing the songs, singing the songs describing the Leelas of Krishna. While they were chanting the glories of baby pastimes of Krishna, what was happening? Imagine how their lives were. We should take deep inspiration from this. In their day-to-day course, what they were doing, in their day-to-day activities, what they were doing, like you ladies are cooking, cleaning, washing, getting the house ready, putting the beds ready, some common course, putting the clothes for drying, even such common activities. They were just walking. Now we were shifting their luggage, but what they were doing while doing that, they were immersed in chanting the glories of Krishna. And it was not just by the way chanting the glories of Krishna, they were immersed. What is the proof of their getting immersed? There were tears flowing from their eyes. They were getting stunned in between, stamba vikar. They were sweating out of ecstasy. Their body was kampa, trembling. Their hair was standing on end. There was change of color. So all ashtavikaras were being exhibited. So it is not just By the way, while you're cooking, you're saying Radhe Radhe Krishna Krishna. This ecstatic symptoms were produced while they were walking on the road. It is said that the gopis, when they were shifting from Mahavan to Vrindavan, they were decorated in beautiful, gorgeous silken clothes and bedecked with flowers and ornaments all over the body as if it was a big festival, because everything that you do in Vrindavan Dham is a festival. Even if Krishna sneezes, it's a festival. Even if Krishna turns to one side at 3 months of age, it's a festival. Whatever Krishna does is a festival. So moving from Garga Samhita says Mahavan se Vrindavan chalne ka udyog. Even this is a festival. Yeah? And Jiva Goswami has narrated this so beautifully. Let's go ahead. So what they were singing, let us hear very carefully. You also can practice this singing. O son of Nanda and Yashoda, you give pleasure to all those who love you. You killed Putana, you killed Shakatasur, you gave pain to Trinavarta, you delivered the two Yamalarjun trees. You are the Punya of Gokula. You are the most auspicious event or happening of Gokul. You play with Balaram constantly, unsatiently. You crawl in the country, in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. You make the Nanda's courtyard glorious and auspicious and colorful. You take great pleasure in releasing the cows. You know, the pastime of Krishna is so happy to tease the gopis by releasing the bound calves, and they will go and drink all the milk. I mean, the gopis will go and try to milk the cows, there will be no milk. Because they refuse to give milk and curd to yogurt to Krishna, Krishna will do this mischief. So they are glorifying. You take great pleasure in releasing the calves. You keep stealing butter. That is your chivalry. You show your chivalry by stealing butter, by many, many different ideas. Oh, you, Krishna, the performer of Damodar Leela. We are so happy to see you bound by Mother Yashoda. We pray that you always remain filled with abundant happiness and also immerse us in happiness. Iti druks valila bhir ananda kunde swagosham nimajjantam akhyapayantam. You drown us in the ecstasy of pools of love and ecstasy. Now Yashoda and Rohini sat in one cart. It was golden in color, bedecked with jewels, seats with satin, soft cushions, as big as a house, bright due to the effulgence of Krishna and Balram sitting inside the cart. At this point, Jiva Goswami says, entrance of Krishna Lila in the ears. Please listen to this very carefully. Entrance of words of Krishna Lila, describing Krishna Lila, in the ears and the hearts, makes one free from all the anarthas. First of all, the anarthas walk out. And then what happens? Fills the heart with love. And then he says, no more love enter in the heart. The heart itself becomes personified love for the person who is immersed in Krishna Lila. So please understand, it is not only for Yashoda and Nanda and all the gopis, it is for you and me also. If you allow Krishna Lila to constantly enter your ears while you are doing your day-to-day work, then your heart will become love personified one day. Now the talks begin. Let me tell you 2-3 shlokas from Bhagavatam which describe about Vrindavan. Vrindavanam sampravishya sarvakala sukhavaham tatra chakrur prajavasam shakatair ardha chandravat. So Vrindavan says that in all seasons it is very pleasurable. Sarvakala sukhavaham. And next sloka says that Vrindavanam Govardhanam Yamuna Pulinani cha Vikshasid Uttama Priti Rama Madhavayor Nrupa. O Nrupa, O Parikshit. Listen carefully. This Vrindavan which it consists inside of Govardhan and Yamuna Pulinacha. Yamuna Pulin means the banks of Yamuna. Yamuna Kinara. So wherever these things are there, Yamuna Kinara, Govardhan and Vrindavan, it gives pleasure to those who are the source of all pleasure. What we call Krishna is, one of the name is Ram, reservoir of all pleasure. So they are the source of all pleasure, but Vrindavan is such a glorious place and such a glorious entity that it gives pleasure to the source of pleasures also. That is a beautiful part of the Vrindavan Dham. Then there is a description. Sometimes Vrindavan is, I mean, not sometimes, always filled with peacocks. Kujat kokila hamsa sarasa gana kirne mayure kule. This is Sada Goswami Ashtaka. In this Vrindavan description is there. What kind of birds are there? There is kokila, the cuckoo birds. There is hamsa, that is swan. There is sarasa pakshi. There is there is peacock. There is chakravaka pakshi. There are so many beautiful birds. There are ducks. There are cranes. There are monkeys. There are bulls. There are cows. There are parrots. All the birds are chirping all the time, Radhe, 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 and making the whole thing atmosphere very auspicious. So Krishna Balaram used to imitate the sounds of these animals and birds and kept on enjoying all the time. So this is a brief description about Vrindavan. And all of you know that for the pleasure of Radharani, Sri Krishna had allowed 84 kroshas of Vrindavan Dham to descend on Mother Earth, so that Radharani will come. Otherwise, Radharani will not come if there is no Vrindavan. Yatra Vrindavana nasti, yatra no Yamuna nadi, yatra no Govardhana asti, tatra na mai manas shanti. That means I don't have any pleasure, any sukh in a place where is no Vrindavan, no Govardhan, no Yamuna. So I will not come only. So that's why, because of her blessings, today we have on earth Vrindavan, Yamuna and Govardhan. And it is said, what you have in Vrindavan, in Bhauma, that is on earth, that is best place amongst the material worlds and among the spiritual worlds also. It is supposed to be superior to Golok Vrindavan also, because there are many more attributes to this Vrindavan which Golok Vrindavan does not have. For example, Krishna is not a small baby in Golok Vrindavan. That most beautiful form of Sri Krishna as a small baby exists only in Bhauma Vrindavan, not in Golok Vrindavan. And there are no demons in Golok Vrindavan. All are only friends. And they only fight with mock fights. But they come down as demons here and fulfill the desire of Krishna to fight. Veera Ras is fulfilled by them. And there are many more differences, but there are some differences like this here. Now, amazing things started. The real pastime of walking towards Vrindavan. They have not yet reached Vrindavan. They're just describing that why are we going to Vrindavan? Okay. Now, Krishna is sitting in the lap of Mother Yashoda, Balram in the lap of Mother Rohini, and Krishna is asking, where are we going? You know how children are, right? They ask you 51 questions. So she says, we are going to Vrindavan. He said, where it is? She says, beyond Yamuna. Immediately, next question is ready. We left one Yamuna in Gokul. Is there any other Yamuna also? Apart from that. So she says, no, the same Yamuna flows from this place to that place. When are we returning home? So she says, we are not returning home. Our home is traveling with us. So then says, I want to see the moving houses. Then she shows them the big bullock carts of house size, Then Balram says, I can see the trees also traveling with us. The distant trees are traveling with us. So Rohini says, no, beta, they are not traveling with us. It just feels like that they are traveling with us. Then Krishna says, oh dear worshipable brother Balaram, you did not tell me that there we will see Yamuna. You never explained to me that we will be seeing Yamuna there also. Then again Sri Krishna says, oh younger mother Rohini, Choti Ma, we will see Yamuna. What is so special about Vrindavan that we are going there, taking so much of trouble? इतना परिश्रम करके हम वृंदावन क्यों जा रहे हैं? So Rohini says, You know, this Vrindavan, this new place we are going to, it has many, many places where you can play. Variety of places, variety of locations and venues to play. And this Vrindavan will provide you unlimited toys to play with, live toys to play with, a variety of toys to play. Thus, both Balram and Krishna laughed and laughed and laughed. How did they laugh? Touching each other's cheek. Very beautiful explained by Jiva Goswami. So it's a very sweet, loving pastime. They were holding each other, touching their cheeks to one another, and laughing and laughing and laughing. Now, next set of question answers started. Krishna said, now Krishna is watching here and there. He is now enjoying the traveling. What is that tree who's always shaking, whose leaves are always shaking? So mother says, this is Ashwatha tree. This is people tree. Which is the tree producing millions of eggs? That is Audumbar tree, Gulay tree. You know Audumbar tree? It is like it has got hundreds of fruits like anjir. You know anjir, our what do you call it in English? I don't know. Um, Anjir. Okay. So this is Guler. Guler is a UP word. Audumbar is Sanskrit word. It is supposed to be the tree of Datta Swami, Dattatreya. Oh mother, which is that tree which has matted hair? Anybody can tell? It is banyan tree, my dear child. The matted hair is falling down, na? It is hanging down. Who are they who are constantly jumping from one place to another, was dark skin with yellow dots on that? The mother says, my dear child, they are deers. They are in the forest. They are go from one place to another. They are hopping from one place to another. Then Krishna says, who are those who have many branched horns? So she says, they are sambar. I don't know what is there in the word in English. Sambar means they are like deers only, but they have got very huge network of branched horns and very strong also. They are mainly on male deer, and they attract female deers because of the beauty of their horns. Then he's saying, who is this bird which has amazing multiple colors? So, my dear Kana, he is peacock. Oh, see his feathers so beautifully spreading all over the. It's like a big fan behind him. Very attractive. Who is that bird who speaks like humans? Anybody can tell? Who is the bird who speaks like humans? Oh, he's parrot. Mother Yashoda is saying he's parrot. Whatever you say, he repeats. Who is that bird who is drinking pushpa rasa? Who is drinking the nectarine juice of all the flowers? Mother says, Beta is bumblebee. He goes from one flower to another flower without discriminating between different colored flowers. He just goes inside focused on the pushpa rasa, on the nectar, the honey that is within the flowers. So this honey is symbolic of a sadhu. He does not differentiate between good and bad people. He just takes good out of them. Associates with the good only from the people. Even if bad people are, they only associate with the good of those people, or he doesn't associate with them. Now, I will tell you one story which happened on the way from Mahavan to Vrindavan. Now, see, there are many gopis, millions and millions upon millions upon millions upon gopis. And there are gopis which are just born, which are toddlers, which are young girls, which are becoming Kumar Avastha girls, they are becoming young Yuva Avastha girls. And there are middle-aged girls, there are married women, then there are married women with children, then there are elderly women, and there are old women, and then there are very old women also beyond 100 years. So all kinds of gopis are walking, but simply their neck is turned towards where Krishna Balram's cart is. Everybody's eyes are glued to that particular bullock cart where Mother Yashoda and Rohini are sitting in a beautifully decorated, golden, bedecked with jewels, such kind of attractive, effulgent bullock cart. So now, one of the gopi, please listen to the story very carefully and attentively. We have a lot to learn from the story. was a very amusing story. So there is a gopi of 105-year-old age, and she is, she's thinking in her mind, how lucky is Yashoda and how lucky is Sohini that Sri Krishna and Balaram are traveling in their lap. How lucky is Yashoda? She's not feeling envious. She thinks, oh, how wonderful to have Krishna in our lap. I wish I had Krishna in my lap when we are traveling from this place to that place. But she said, what is my qualification? I'm so insignificant. I don't deserve. So let me keep watching Mother Yashoda having this beautiful fortune of having Krishna in her lap. She just thought like this, and Krishna is Antaryami. He knows what is going on in the minds of everybody. And also, this gives us hope that whatever we wish in service to Krishna, Krishna is also knowing that what are we wishing. And doesn't only know, but also responds to that if the desire is very pure. So now, to fulfill the desire of this gopi, he arranged a big pastime. He started vigorously asking questions to Mother Yashoda. Again, in a renewed fashion. He would say, Mother, who is that bird? So she would say, he's parrot. So he would say, who is next to him? So she says, Maina, she parrot. So what does she relate to him? So she said, Maina is a parrot's wife. Oh, wow. Then he said, who is that colorful bird? So he is peacock. So who is next to him? So she says she's peahen. So who is peahen to peacock? Peacock. Then peahen is the wife of peacock. Oh, really? Then same with deer. Then same with elephants, and same with other birds and other animals. And so he took a big round of all the birds and all the animals, and specifically he asked when they were coupled with the females. So after asking all the birds who were in couples and all the animals who were in couples, suddenly after satisfactorily answering all the questions also, he started crying very loudly. Now nobody knew why he's crying. I'm answering all questions truthfully, whatever he's asking, I'm satisfying him. But he started crying and crying and crying and crying. They gave breast milk, refused. They gave toys, refused. They gave so many other methods of singing, refused, refused, and refused. And when Krishna started crying, all that caravan stopped. They just cannot move. Bulls cannot move when Krishna is crying. The moving bulls are turning behind and with their necks and watching what is happening. All the gopis came running around there. All the men coming running around there. And they were wondering why Krishna is crying. Now, sometimes when the children cry, they cry like this. They can't even speak. So much they cry that they can't speak. They have to settle down to be even before speaking. So they're asking Krishna, what happened? He's only wo siskiya bhar rahe the. He couldn't even tell them what they are crying. After some time, he a little bit settled down because everybody was inquiring. So he said, everybody is having wife except me. All of them have wives and I'm not having wife. I want to get married right now. Where is my wife? So Mother Yashoda and Rohini are explaining to him, Beta, you're a small boy. When you will become big, we will get a beautiful girl for you and will get married. That is called marriageable age. You're not marriageable age now. You're a baby boy. He said, I do not know all this philosophy. I want wife right now. And he kept on crying and crying. Now, if he just keeps on crying, he may not stop also. So then you have to stay there on the road only. You have to move ahead. So then all the gopis and Yashoda will discuss, and we said, okay, all the gopis stand in groups now. All the young small girls, eligible for Krishna, then little bigger girls, then young girls, then married with children, then older girls and older ladies, and then the old ladies and the oldest ladies. Make your groups and stand in queue and begin with the marriageable age, suitable for Krishna. Bring them first. So you can imagine There's a big festival now. Vadhuvar Mela. Huh? All the girls are standing with hope that Krishna will say yes for me. So each and every girl was presented. Krishna said, out, out. Like that, all the groups, toddlers, little bigger, and little bigger, and the young ones, and the Kumar and the Kishore, all beautiful, beautiful girls were one after another rejected by Krishna. Then came the turns of married women who are much, much bigger than him. He rejected them also. Then came the turns of middle-aged gopis with children, grown-up children. He rejected them also. Then he rejected all the old ladies also. Then all the old ladies also. Then very old ladies beyond 100, only they were remaining. So their group came in front. They were rejected one by one by one. And finally, the turn came of this 105-year-old gopi. As soon as she was presented, Krishna jumped in her lap. Hey, this is my wife. This is my wife. I want to marry her. This is my wife. Everybody laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. And they said, what a perfect match. What a perfect match. She does not have teeth in her mouth. Neither you have teeth in your mouth. Very perfect match. And then Krishna sat in her lap and traveled all the distance till Nandagaon. So this is the fortune of that 105-year-old gopi. So however insignificant we may be, of course we are, but if our desire is sincere, free from all the anarthas of envy, competitive nature, and arrogance and all those things, pride, and we have something impossible desire about Krishna in our heart, be sure if you are clean at heart, Krishna will find ways and means to fulfill your desire. Krishna arranged a big pastime to go to sit in the lap of that old lady. And she had the fortune of carrying Krishna all throughout the distance. Now, after this pastime, um, of course, you all know one thing that we should know, that there are enough contradictions and enough similarities in varieties of Krishna's pastimes. Why it is so? Because of Kalpa Bheda. Because Krishna does not perform this pastime only once. Krishna's pastimes are called as Nitya Leela. They are eternally being enacted, constantly being enacted in the same place. For example, at Kalia Ghat, Krishna is constantly dancing on the hoods of Kalia. At Bansivat, Krishna is constantly playing flute. But do you think he plays flute monotonously all the time? No. He plays flute in variety of ways in the same place. You never find that he's doing the same thing again. You will find that he is doing those things Navanavayaman, Navakishore. All time he is in a very new, he's always new. He's Adrashta. Adrashta means nobody has seen him before. Why? Because what you see today is not there any time before. So today's Krishna, nobody has seen up till now. So Krishna is constantly Adrashta. Because whatever form he is showing today is never seen by anybody in the past. So similarly, whatever pastime Krishna is performing is never same or monotonous. So in one pastime, he sat in the lap of the old lady and all the way he went to Nandagaon. In another pastime, there was lots of question answers with Nanda, with Yashoda and Rohini Devi. And then suddenly Krishna Balram jumped off the bullock cart of Yashoda and Rohini, and they ran and they went to meet Nanda Maharaj. Then Nanda starts glorifying Vrindavan. So many birds, so many animals, so many trees, so many creepers, colorful atmosphere, cool breeze, and so much of joy in the atmosphere, so pleasing. And Krishna Balram actually that time, first time touched their lotus feet on Vrindavan Bhumi. They just jumped with all the coward boys and jumping, they went to Nanda Maharaj. Then what happened? Then the Yamuna came. Because Yamuna is actually surrounding the whole Vrindavan Dham. One thing all of you should know, that what Vrindavan we are talking is not the Vrindavan which is there today. The Vrindavan today is a geographical Vrindavan, which has pin code 281121. That is what we call as Vrindavan today. where our ISKCON Ramanreti is there, our auspice is there, and 7 temples are there. That is today's Bhaugolik Vrindavan, geographical Vrindavan. But the real Vrindavan, which is addressed over here by Nanda Maharaj, by Jiva Goswami, by Shukadeva Goswami, is 20 kroshas long. And it includes Jamuna River completely. It includes full Govardhan Mountain. It includes Nandagaon. It includes Barsana. It includes Javvat, Kokilavan, and in between Chhata and Chatikra, and you name it. Every single thing is, Ranavari, and all the villages, Anjanok and Khaira and Pipasavan, everything is included in Vrindavan. That is what Vrindavan is talked about over here. So when Krishna moved to Vrindavan, that means Nandagaon is inside Vrindavan. And from there he would go to herd the cows in Vrindavan, the whole big forest. Okay. So now it is also explained that Yamunaji was flowing in Govardhan also. Yamunaji was flowing in Nandagaon and Barsana also. Now in the course of time, in 5,000 years time, the whole thing is changed. The tracks have been changed. And even 35 years back, when we went first time with our Gurudev, Radhanath Swami, Yamuna ji was right there on the outside of hospice. You come out of hospice and Yamuna ji was flowing there. That was full of reti, And Kalia there, Yamuna ji was flowing there. Madan Mohan ji's temple, Yamuna ji was flowing there. You go to Jugal Ghat, Yamuna ji was flowing there. But in our lives of last 35 years, even Jamuna ji has moved much away. Almost 1.5 kilometers she has gone ahead. One reason is she's moving. Second reason is she's also contracting, becoming smaller and smaller and smaller in her width. So for both this, now from the point of view of Madhuvan, which is part of the whole Braja Gokul, what happened was from Madhuvan to Kalia Ghat, they built bridges. They built bridge with wood. Very expertly joining the two locations, the coward boys built the bridge. And then singing, dancing, and shedding tears of love, discussing about Krishna, they went over the bridge and they crossed Yamuna in a very beautiful fashion. Laughing, singing, dancing, all the Gopas entered Vrindavan. And as soon as they entered Vrindavan, the first place came called as Chatikara. And the pastime which I told you of the old lady actually took place at Chatikara. I told you a little before, but when they entered Chatikara, that is where the pastime took place. Now, Chatikara is a place where they actually had a halt. They took a halt. Chatikara is about 6 kilometers from our ISKCON Krishna Balram Mandir in today's time. It is on the highway. And there we have Garud Govinda Mandir, where Krishna made Sridama turn into Garuda and climbed on him. And Krishna assumed 12-armed form of Dwarka. There's only one form in the whole universe where Krishna has 12 forms, 12 arms. And he jumped on Sridama, who became Garuda. And as soon as that Aishwarya Bhav was exhibited there, Rukmini and Satyabhama also appeared there. And Radharani, who was with him, he turned into Mahalakshmi. So that beautiful darshan of Garud Govinda is there in Chatikara. And also, Chatikara is a place where Yashoda Rani performed Krishna's Shashti Pujana with Shashti Devi. So that's why it's called as Chatikara. Krishna ki Chati Puja wahan par ki gayi thi. Another reason why it is called Chatikara, another reason name is Shakatipura or Shakatikara. Shakatikara, why is that? Because when Nanda Maharaj and Vishnubhanu Maharaj halted there, they created a big tent. And in that tent, centrally was Nanda Maharaj's palace, surrounded by his brother's palace. And all the coward boys and men, they built their small temporary houses and they bordered their tent. I mean, they fenced their whole tent with 3 things: with trees, with thorns, and with bullock carts. So what is the shloka here mentioned is Ardha Chandrakruti. The beautiful shloka here in Bhagavatam which says that the whole Tatra Chakrur Vrajavasam Shakatair Ardha Chandravat, as the half moon crescent the bullock carts were arranged and in such a way that it created a fence to all the tent. Now, one very interesting point is here that Nanda Maharaj's tent was in Chatikara. There is Shashti Devi Mandir also there, Lord Govind Mandir also is there. And Vrishabhanu Maharaj's tent was Basoti or Basati or Basoti, whatever you can say. This is 1 kilometer away from Radhakund. And Radhakund is 28 kilometers from today's Vrindavan. And interestingly, Prabhupada mentions that when he bought the place in Ramanreti Vrindavan, where Krishna Balaram temple is there now, that time it was not there, only land was taken. Tigers and cheetahs and elephants would come there. It was such a thick forest. People are wondering why Prabhupada bought a land there. Why are you buying a land in jungle? He said, wait and watch. And from that location, Vrindavan, current Vrindavan was ending at Ram Jivai Satsang Bhavan Vidyapit Chauraha. I don't know how many of you know that place. From where there is a Madan Mohan temple in 2 minutes and Makevia temple in 2 minutes. That's called Vidyapit Chauraha. There Vrindavan ended actually. But the land was there in the forest, and from that area for 28 long kilometers, the sun rays would not touch the ground anytime. Such thick forest was there. So they were actually moving in the forest. So this Basoti village is 28 kilometers away from Vrindavan. And interestingly, scriptures are explaining that the tents of Nanda Maharaj and Vrishabhanu Maharaj were touching each other. How is that? How is that possible? Today's geography tells you that the two locations are 28 kilometers away. And scriptures are telling that both these tents of both these friends were touching each other. Trespassable. How? Because they were so large and so expansive that they were almost 28 kilometers of diameter. That's why they were touching each other. This is how we can understand. So, Krishna Balram jumped on the bhumi of Vrindavan, looking here and there with a curiosity, and started enjoying with friends instantly. There was no need to decide and plan. They just started enjoying instantly. So Jiva Goswami says here that it is impossible to describe the beauty of Vrindavan. Such beauty of Vrindavan is always witnessed by the great devotees who love. Preman jana churita bhakti vilochanena santaha sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti. Those who have love for Krishna, they are not only witnessing Krishna in their heart, but they are also witnessing Vrindavan Dham in their heart. Because Vrindavan Dham is not different from Krishna. Krishna is not different from Vrindavan. So both these entities which are not different from each other are always revealed in the hearts of those who love Krishna. So this is a lesson for us that if we love Krishna, even Vrindavan Dham will be manifesting in the hearts of all of us. So this is how they traveled. And then now one more interesting description is given by Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami says that the tent, listen very carefully, the tent itself was 8 kroshas by 4 kroshas in size. 1 krosha is 2 miles. So 8 kroshas is 16 miles and 4 kroshas is 8 miles. That is Nanda Maharaja's tent size. 16 miles by 8 miles was the expanse of only the tent of Nanda Maharaj, please understand. And central was the house of Nanda Maharaj, surrounded by his brothers. So this is how Jiva Goswami and Shukdev Goswami, they describe how the Brajvasi party, the Brajvasis of Raval and Gokul, how they traveled from Mahavan to Vrindavan. But I want to now explain to you one important thing. That did the calamities end when they went to Vrindavan? No. The calamities continued. The disturbances continued. The atrocities of Kamsa continued. So what is guaranteed in Vrindavan is bliss, but not peace. Don't go to Vrindavan to achieve peace. Vrindavan will never give peace to you. Even when Krishna was right there in the middle of all the gopis and gopas, they were daily in so much tension. Someday the bull is coming, someday the woman is coming, 12 miles long, someday the bullock cart is coming, someday the bavander is coming, whirlwind is coming, someday trees are falling, someday the bull is coming, someday the horse is coming, someday the duck is coming, someday rains are coming, someday whirlwind is coming. You can imagine, not a single day was free of any anxiety. But still, being Krishna around, they were all enjoying all the time, mixed with the middle of miseries. So what do we understand by this? You should understand that by becoming devotees of Krishna, don't think your life will be peaceful. But blissfulness is guaranteed if you become Krishna conscious. When you are with Krishna, bliss is guaranteed, may not be, peace is not guaranteed. But we don't mind. We want Krishna whether bliss or misery. We want to be next to Krishna. So we adopt Krishna as our companion, then your life will be always blissful in the middle of all the miserable conditions of life. And the miserable conditions of life will be always there around you, but you will not be affected by any of the miserable situations. They will not cause you some negative emotions. They will be right there next to you, but you will remain blissful in the middle of all those dreadful miseries of life. So there was a very simple thing to do. If they really want to be peaceful, they should have given up the company of Krishna, because all the miseries were attracted by Krishna. They were all coming to him. Because Krishna was there, all the miseries were coming. Kamsa was sending everybody to kill Krishna. So wherever Krishna was there was danger for everybody. But did Brajvasis ever leave Krishna because he was source of all the calamities? No. Actually, he was source of all the calamities. But Brajvasis never left him, because their fear of being around him causing miseries was much, much inferior to the bliss that they were getting by being with Krishna. So they didn't care for the miseries or troubles or atrocities or disturbances caused by Krishna's presence with them, but they were immersed in the bliss that was created by Krishna around him. So our spiritual life also is like that only. When you adopt Krishna consciousness, do not expect any Vishwarup, do you love Vrindavan? I said, yes, Maharaj, I love Vrindavan. Then be prepared. Your life will not be at peace. Your life will be always in misery. You will be tested and tested and tested. If you dare to love Vrindavan and Krishna, you will be tested by Krishna for that love. So be prepared. And while you are giving that examination of the tests of Krishna, there will be also bliss while giving the test, while passing the test, and after the test also. So it's a very challenging, eventful life. Krishna conscious life is never dull life. It's never monotonous, happy, blissful, happy and peaceful life. It's a very eventful, full of thrill, बोलते हैं ना, सनसनी खेज, complete action, emotion, and all kinds of unexpected events which ultimately lead you to blissful situation are filled up in your life when you accept Krishna as your master. So thus ends the description of Krishna, Balaram, and his parents and all the Brajvasis moving from Mahavan to Vrindavan Dham. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Is there any questions? Please ask.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. This was completely blissful and peaceful for us right now. But Prabhuji,
even
you
if
said,
the peace goes away, you do not give up Krishna.
yes, yes. But how do we, Prabhuji, how do we not expect? Is
Not
there
expect,
some,
not
like,
expect what?
not expect peace or material happiness?
You are free to expect whatever you want. Krishna is free to give whatever he wants to give you. So you go on desiring whatever you want, Krishna will keep giving you whatever he wants to give you.
So is there some way to deal with situations and move forward. Like you began the session only with saying that always march forward. You know, whatever comes in your life.
सदैव सैनिका पुढेच जायचे न मागुती तुवा कधी फिरायचे. The childhood poetry. It says, "Oh soldier," in this case, soldier is you. Keep going ahead. Don't look behind. Always keep going ahead. Whatever happens in life, keep going ahead. Keep positive attitude and keep going ahead. And the secret behind all this, I told you in the beginning of my lecture today, while you're doing your common household chores every day, like you're washing clothes, cooking, making your home, cleaning, washing up, keep hearing Krishna Lila. Your ears are open. They are not cooking. They are not washing. They are not making the beds. They are open. Put the tape on. I'll show you. See this here. Keep this on while you are brushing your teeth, even right from that time. Keep this on and let it be on. Fill up your existence with those pastimes of Krishna. Then, even though you are surrounded by miseries, they will not affect you because you have taken the vaccine of Krishna Lila through your ears. And what I told you, your heart will not have entrance of love, so your heart will become love. So please do that. Please do that.
But you also, maybe I missed it, but you said that this is the definition of Brajvasis.
Yeah, those who are
Swami has-
Brajan. Brajan means those who keep moving from one place to another with their cows. They are called Brajvasis. They traverse Braj Bhumi from one forest to another, herding their cows, sometimes shifting their locations also. But they basically keep moving from one place to another to give good fresh grass to their cows. There's a custom, and you will be very happy to know. Nowadays, the Brajvasis are also staying in UK and US and settled down there, educated themselves there and earning money there. But they come down to Vrindavan at the age of 50, 55 and they herd the cows. Because till they herd the cows personally, they are not given the title of Brajvasi, whoever they are. That is the whole point. That is the traditional culture. See, Nanda Maharaj was such a big, rich man, right? And Krishna Balaram were his sons of the king. They had umpty number of thousands of servants to herd the cows. But Nanda Maharaj made Krishna Balaram herd the cows personally. He trained them, right from baby cows and baby bulls to big cows and big bulls later on after Gopashtami. Why is that? Because he didn't want to lose Krishna Balaram to be known as Brajvasis. So he gave them the culture right from beginning of their life. So similarly, we have to give our children the culture of Krishna consciousness right from the beginning.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Anybody else has any question? They can unmute themselves and.
Achyut Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes.
Yes, I'm Mathura Mataji.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam. Who's asking question?
Outstanding.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna
sir.
Prabhuji. Can you tell me the book of Jiva Goswami, which book he has explained all this?
Gopala Champu.
Gopala Champu. Okay, okay. Thank you.
Very
Thank you.
beautiful book. Very beautiful. Any other question by anybody? Okay. If no question, then we'll end here. And we'll meet you next Monday. That is 21.
Nirjala Ekadashi, Prabhuji.
Nirjala Ekadashi. Jai. Jai ho. Nirjala Ekadashi ki jai ho. We'll drown you in the nectar.
Yes.
The nectar will go inside
That's
the
why I reminded you so that.
mouth. Through the years.
Yes.
Maybe we can meet at 6:15 if you don't mind.
Yes, Prabhuji.
We'll
Yes.
start at 6:15 and go till 7:45.
So we can go for a little longer also if.
Yes. So that you will forget your misery of Nirjala Ekadashi. Hare Krishna. Krishna Kathamrita will drown you and will forget that you are fasting Ekadashi Nirjala. That is the power of Krishna Lila. Right from today itself, you start putting the lectures on of Krishna's pastimes right from the early morning. And in all the day when you're cooking, doing your household chores and doing things, keep hearing Krishna Lila. They will transport you to the spiritual world right on the spot. Okay? Jai Jai Sri Radhe Shyam.